First of all, I want to offer my deepest gratitude to our beloved Heavenly Parent and true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. I am Yonfil Donna Jumawin Ko, a second-generation daughter from the Philippines. I am the third child of 5 siblings, born to Alan and Teresita Humawan of the 360,000 couples. In 2022, I was blessed to my dear husband, Fan Mengko from Malaysia. As I stand here, I feel so small. Looking at the great ocean of heaven's grace, I realize my testimony is just a tiny drop, a lacking testimony. Growing up, life felt less like a childhood and more like a training camp. My mother was a woman of iron faith. In our home, traditions were lifeblood. We lived like a soldiers. I remember the sting of cold showers, the hunger of morning fast, and the weight of an hour of reading. At that time, I looked at my mother with a heart of resentment. I wondered why we had to live in survival mood while other kids live in comfort. I didn't know then that she was preparing my spirit for a battle I couldn't yet see. When I was 13, our family moved from the north of the Philippines to the south, a physical and spiritual desert. We were the only blessed family for miles. In that isolation, I watched my mother's faith truly catch fire. She resolved to build our house into a center, welcoming every stranger as family. As I grew, my resentment melted into gratitude. I saw that the soldier's life was actually a foundation of substance. Yet, I still feel I'm lacking. I was still just a child of faith who hadn't yet truly met the heart of true parents. My real encounter with the living God began through my husband. We met online during the COVID era in 2020. Our first physical meeting was one day before our blessing in 2022. We were so happy, but heaven had a deeper course for us to walk. After our blessing, we had to part ways. He was a student in Sanmun, having internship in Malaysia, and I was on public mission and studying in the Philippines. 5 months later, my husband was rushed to the hospital with a life-threatening case of ulcerative colitis. He was losing so much blood and his weight was dropping so fast that the doctors told his parents he might not survive. I was thousands of miles away, paralyzed by fear. I bought a ticket, rushed to the airport, and prayed with every breath, but I was denied travel. I stood in the airport crying out to my mother on call, "What do I do? Why is this happening?" That was the moment I realized my poor heart. I had been relying on my emotion, but I had offered no Jongsong. I had no spiritual bank account to draw from in this crisis. But my husband, even in his agony, even when his body was failing, refused to let go. He told me he wanted to fight. He looked at the value of our blessing and he fought back against that itself. I went back, I offered sincere devotion, I humbled my heart, and on my second attempt to travel, heaven opened the doors for us. I was able to be with my husband and his body slowly recovered. I want to say thank you to all the prayers and devotion of all our brothers and sisters in Malaysia and Philippines who stood by us during that time. While I stayed in Malaysia, helping him recover, my mother-in-law sat down for one-on-one talk. She looked at me with a deep concern and asked, "Yonfil, can you really take care of him forever? This is a chronic illness. It can come back anytime." She was asking if I was ready to carry a cross for the rest of my life. But as I looked at my husband, I saw a man who never gave up on me. Why should I give up on him? I realized then that the blessing is not just for good times as a couple. It's a bond that holds firm even when our health fades. I told her I would never give up. I realized that my husband's struggle was my struggle, and our victory would be true mother's victory. In the hospital, I started playing holy songs and joined an online vigil. My mother-in-law told me to do the calling out prayer 1,000 times a day. As I cried out his name and poured my longing with all my heart into the air, something shifted. After 4 days, the bleeding stopped. I realized that the sincere devotion moves the heart of heaven. We have been so busy trying to survive that we forgot to live for our spiritual life. That is why we are here in this 40-day workshop. We came to Hyojeong to purify our hearts, but I did not expect how deeply this experience would break me open. Being here in the land where true parents poured out their sweat and tears has shifted my perspective entirely. Through all my experiences here, I have begun to feel a resonance I never knew before. I'm no longer just hearing the word, I'm feeling the vibration of true mother's heart. I realized that my previous struggles were not just bad luck. They were invitations to grow my heart to a level where I could truly support true mother. The training of my childhood wasn't meant to make me tough, but resilient enough to love even when it hurts. I stand before true mother as a daughter who has finally begun to fathom the weight of her endurance. Reflecting on her sacrifices and the loneliness she carries, I question if I have offered even a fraction of the devotion she deserves. Inspired by the absolute filial hearts of Hyojeong and Hyojeong, I realized my husband and I must inherit the same readiness to live entirely for true parents. My resolve is no longer to simply follow, but to walk beside true mother. To everyone, please do not wait for a crisis to offer your heart. Do not wait for sickness to realize the value of the blessing. Our struggles are just the labor pains of a new life. When we offer Jeongsong with a heart that screams for heavenly parent and true parents, mountains move. True mother, I'm a lacking daughter. I have been selfish and distant, but through the grace of this workshop, I have found my way back to your heart. I resolve today and every day of my life to be a daughter who protects you, who consoles you, and who offers her life for your joy. I will never give up on you because you never give up on me. I feel so incredibly fortunate to share my heart with all of you today. This is my very first 40-day workshop, and being allowed to speak is a grace I never expected. My husband and I actually just celebrated the 4th blessing anniversary, and I truly believe that standing here together is the greatest gift we could ever receive from heaven. Finally, I want to express my deepest gratitude to my parents and my in-laws for their constant support. Most of all, I want to thank my husband for walking this path beside me. 하늘 부모님, 참 부모님, 감사합니다. 사랑합니다.